producer and creator of All Eyez on Me.
Yes, sir.
The Tupac movie.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this 2 years ago. In my old office, you were talking about how you're going to put it together. And, you know, when you hear stories like that, you're like, oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Of course you are. Everyone's working on a big project that ultimately never comes out. But there's going to be a Tupac movie?
Oh, yeah, it's the actual biopic, you know what I mean? Those documentaries, all that stuff was that, but this the actual, you know, theatrical version, $40 million scenario.
Here we are in 2017.
I actually go a little bit further because when we're walking out of Snoop's reincarnation premiere is when I first told you about it.
Right, that was like 2013, I think?
Yeah, that was early. Yeah, that was early.
So you've been working on it for how many years now?
Since 2008.
For 9 years.
Yeah. The end of 2007, 2008.
For 9 years,
yeah.
Almost 10 years.
Really 10, yeah.
How does it feel now that it's coming out?
Like I said out there earlier, man, it's more or less I'm getting the feeling from, you know, having people see it. You know, that's filling up some of the energy. You know what I'm saying? Saying, okay, you spent 10 years of your life on this project and people are receiving it the way that I wanted them to receive it, you know, and that's gratifying. But actually, like, it's still surreal for me until it actually come out in you know, a few weeks later, it probably hit me. But right now, you know, it's not finished, you know, for as the achievements and how we want to do it, you know, it's still not done, you know. Like my phone right now I can't get 2 seconds, man, you know what I mean? So that'll set in probably later.
I feel you. Now, the movie that's coming out now is very different than what you originally had planned for the movie.
No.
It went through a lot of different iterations, different directors, different, you know, potential actors and so forth.
Yeah, but it didn't. A lot of that stuff was rumors and speculations.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The actors, you know, when I decided on what the cast was, that was the cast. You know what I mean? We didn't swap out. You know, a lot of people said they had the role and different things. I just wasn't speaking on it. Now, I did go through, you know, different directors, you know, for various reasons. The film that I pitched day one was always this picture that you see. So fighting for that vision was the fight that I was going through, making sure that we kept what I call the Holy Trinity, right? The Holy Trinity was who Tupac was, who he wanted to be, and who he had to be to survive the worlds that he was introduced into. And that gave us a clean trajectory because anyone who was to be involved in this project could not be self-servient. You know, you couldn't, you know, want to make it about you, you know, and what your character is. It's about Tupac and Tupac's voice. You know, I had to follow the same rules, you know, because there's parts of the story that I may be in love with because they were closer to me. But it's not about me. It's about giving a full understanding and the complexion of a overly personified guy on the negative side, you know what I'm saying? That
right.
Imagery and a person who everybody thinks that they'll do Google search and they know everything about them. So how do you tell a story about someone who everybody thinks they know the best? Everybody thinks they're a Tupacologist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, originally, John Singleton was going to be the director.
From the start? No.
Well, okay, that's what I heard. Who was the original director before Singleton?
Antoine Fuqua.
Oh, really? From Training Day?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a pretty good fit. Okay. What happened with Fuqua?
Nothing, just creative, you know, creative differences and scheduling.
Okay.
You know, so
he couldn't do it. Then Singleton came in.
Yeah, Singleton called me, you know, and like I said, once again, not to make it about me and him, but at the end of the day, he knows what happened, and he knows why we had to part ways.
Well, I just had the Outlaws in here. But you pointed out some very interesting things about Singleton. So essentially, he started to make his own script.
Right.
And in the script, he insinuated that Tupac got raped in jail.
Right.
Which is pretty crazy. I've never heard that.
He insinuated it. You know what I mean?
So
he wanted to, you know, that's the Hollywood shit. You know what I mean? let's put some extra stuff up in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And he also insinuated that Afeni's a lesbian.
Right. That's what he said.
Which I've never heard before either.
Because it's not true.
Right.
He insinuating stuff, you know, and they fired him.
Yeah, he insinuated all that stuff. I'm going to just tell the truth because it's you, baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not looking for drama, and I'm not looking for, you know, press breaks. I really hate speaking about it because for me, you know, for him to go and say all the stuff to even cause this reaction, because I never even said that he was fired or let go. I kept everything, you know, on the low because it's like the last thing I want is to have two black men going back and forth. You don't have that with Wonder Woman. You don't have that with Jurassic Park. You don't have that with Spielberg and Oliver Stone. You know, it's like, it's just messy. So, you know, I was upset that he even put it into the system to make me have to respond. And it's like, and especially knowing why we parted ways. Like, you know, I have this script. You know that the studio, there was 15 people in the room when the argument ensued and when we went back and forth about the content, you know, and it's like, you can't have, you know, you turn the page and, you know, Tupac fucking on every page. We don't even have that type of real estate. That's not what this movie about. You want to go make a porno, go make a porno. God forbid you want to have Miss Shakur in a threesome. Like, my man, I got a problem with you. I don't give a fuck if he was Steven Spielberg. I got a problem with anybody who wants to introduce that type of content. For what? Shock value? I can't even tell you the amount of things that we had a problem with. But let's just go one further. If you really cared and you really wanted to make a Tupac movie, you had 18 years to do it.
Right, because he worked with Tupac before.
But after Tupac passed in '96, you have 18 years to when I started doing it almost.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Well, at the time it was like 15, but whatever it was. All that time, you have power in how, go make your own Tupac film.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't do that, so.
So I'd heard originally Michael B. Jordan was up for the role of Tupac. Mm-hmm. Which
not up for it. He auditioned for it.
He auditioned for it. Oh, okay.
And he did an outstanding job. I mean, he was
great actor.
Incredible actor.
Yeah.
But he's not Tupac.
Doesn't look like Tupac.
Not even just the look. There's more to it, you know, but let's be clear. Aesthetically, with Tupac, it's like saying to see somebody that's not close or almost spot on, it's like saying putting Jesus on a circle when he clearly died on the cross.
Right.
It would throw you off. I don't care how great you tell the story about how he got on the circle. You're still gonna be like, he died on the cross though.
Right.
So aesthetically, if we didn't capture you aesthetically, you wouldn't even receive the story because you'll spend 45 minutes to an hour saying, damn, why is this guy playing, you know, like, no, man, they would just say wrong. And let's just go. All black people don't look alike.
Right.
The complexions are totally, you know, he's brown skin, light skin, Tupac was dark skin. I mean, like, just that alone and just the physicality of stature, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to embody and get someone who, and let's be clear, Demetrius Shipp Jr. is not Tupac. You know,
but he does look like him.
What I'm saying is, he's the closest thing that I found in the whole makeup of the combination of what we're looking for. Somebody who, you know, was a clean canvas, someone that Pac's spirit can actually use. And then when people often ask me, well, what made him different from most people? Like other candidates.
Like, who were some of the other candidates outside of Michael B. Jordan? Like the notable ones.
Honestly, everybody auditioned.
Like who?
That was crazy. I mean, I don't want to embarrass none of these people.
Well,
man.
it's not an embarrassment.
You know
I mean, you know, people audition for stuff all the time.
Yeah,
Like, what are some of the other big names? Give me one or two.
They in some of them in the movie. I mean, it depends on what you call big names, man. Like, a lot of people came in. A lot of, you know, people that's on TV shows and have acted before and different
Donald
things.
Glover, did he audition for Tupac?
No. That would have been funny, but people, you know, yeah, it was a lot. I'm just saying it's okay. You know, I'm actually thinking about putting out the audition reels just so people could check it out as a bonus footage. But A lot of people, man, went out for the road because you got to stay. Even Michael wasn't Michael yet. You know, he wasn't Michael B. Jordan, you know, of Fruitville Station and Creed. And,
Oh, this was before that.
Yeah, this was
Oh,
way
so this
before
was like
that,
a
yeah.
young. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was early.
Nice.
This was Wallace from The Wire. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know, so you know everybody else that tried out for the joint. You know what I mean?